Good morning. I have 9 a.m. So we're going to start the fire weather briefing for August 9th, 2025. My name is Kelly. I'm here from Spokane, and we have Logan here from Seattle. As a reminder, we have this disclosure that this meeting is being recorded. By joining and participating in this session, consent is being given to the recording. So please keep cameras off per the NOAA Privacy Act statement. So current satellite imagery here, you can see we're starting to be influenced by the ridge that is overhead. This is the same ridge that will eventually start shifting more west as we head into midweek, which will bring chances for some low impact systems to move through the area. First, we'll start with our fire weather summary. Logan, I can pass it off to you if you want to talk about Western Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so today we'll continue to see that warming trend here on the west side, with the warmest days kind of being that Sunday, Monday, and potentially Tuesday timeframe. We'll have those warm and dry conditions. Tuesday, there's a little bit of uncertainty with how fast will cool off, but we still want to mention that Tuesday still could be pretty warm and dry there. But then once we get to Wednesday and into the end of next week, we'll be quite a bit cooler, and we could also see a slight chance for some showers, particularly along the coast and through the North Cascades. That's all I have.
Thanks, Logan. So for Eastern Washington, North Idaho, we'll be starting a warming trend, getting to that hot and dry by Monday, Tuesday. Monday will also include some breezy conditions, mainly in that potential for the Okanagan Valley. And then the main story will be Wednesday. We have near critical, potentially, conditions on Wednesday. There's some uncertainty, mainly with the timing of how the minimum dry RH relative humidities will align with peak heating or not. There's a little bit of uncertainty in the timing for that right now. And then moving on to Thursday, Friday, we'll cool off slightly into the 80s. And we will have a slight chance of showers, only about 8 to 14%, 15% chance, mainly along the Canadian border. So I just wanted to show real quick for the Upper Columbia Basin. This is your hot, dry, windy index. And you can see on day 3 and day 4. So we have quite the spread here in our indices. So we have some that are above the 95th percentile on those days, but we also have some that are less than the 25th percentile. So again, just putting in some of that uncertainty for late week. All right, so switching to some hazards. Right now, there's only some heat advisories that are out. So for Central Washington, we have heat advisories starting tomorrow through Tuesday, and for Eastern Washington and North Idaho, starting Monday through Tuesday. And moving on to the weather. So for today, max temperatures in Western Washington, we're in the upper 60s to the mid 80s. And then into Eastern Washington and North Idaho, looking at the mid 80s to near 90. Similarly, with their relative humidities, we're looking in the 40s to upper 60s and 70s in parts of Western Washington, and we were in much drier in Eastern Washington with relative humidities in the 20 to 25% range, including North Idaho, a little higher up there in the up to 30%. And here we are for wind speeds on the left and peak wind gusts on the right. So we're looking pretty uniform across Washington and Idaho. Wind speeds around 10 miles an hour with gusts of 10 to 15 miles an hour, with mainly a westerly component to the wind. All right, for day 2, we'll pass it off to Logan.
Thanks. Yeah, so here, just wanted to highlight here our minimum RHs on the west side. This is probably a bit high, given that we're probably going to be mostly clear here. But we are expecting, especially through the southern half of the Cascades and through the southwest interior, our RHs dipping into the 30s to potentially the upper 20s across our area. But I think that's all I have for this slide.
And here's your day 3 for you, Logan.
Yeah, so here's similar conditions. We'll be a little bit warmer, so we'll probably have a little bit lower RHs here as well. But similar areas through the southern Cascades and the southwest interior, we'll see those RHs dip below 40% and potentially below 30% in those Cascade valleys and in the farther south areas closer to towards Oregon.
Thank you, Logan. So for our area here in Eastern Washington, North Idaho, we wanted to focus on day 5. So this is going to be that potentially critical day. So we've got the relative humidities in that 20% range, right about there. And we've got our wind. You can especially see it in the gusts. We're going to be gusting anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour. And this was the day that we have a little bit of an uncertainty in how this min RH plays out. It potentially could be lower than what we have here. So again, there's some uncertainty on that day. There we go. So this is our star day 1 through 7 QPF. You can see we had some light showers mentioned along the Canadian border. If you want to mention anything there, Logan.
Yeah, sure. So here you can see our best chances for precip will be there in the North Cascades and also along the Pacific coast and up there in the Cascades. We're not expecting like any sort of heavy or wetting rains, but you know, chances for light showers each day will help add a little bit of rain up there.
Okay, moving on to trends. Again, we'll start with Logan.
Thanks. So yeah, here looking at Oar Creek, you can see that warming and drying trend here for the next 3 days, with the warmest days being Monday and potentially also Tuesday. And you can see those min RHs there dipping below 30% and approaching 20% even there in the Southern Cascades. Overall, luckily the winds won't be too light and will maintain at least somewhat onshore, if not northerly flow through those days. And then you can see there Tuesday into Wednesday there where we cool off quite a bit. We get those humidities back above 40% and we are more solidly under onshore flow. And so we'll have less fire concerns there through the end of next week.
Thanks, Logan. All right, our next points in Central Washington, we have Douglas. So you can see with temperature trends warming through Tuesday and starting to cool off for the remainder of the week there. Relative humidity wise, generally poor recoveries with slightly better improvement late week as we start to cool off. Low RHs in the afternoon, getting around 20%. In wind speeds, you can see the pick up around Tuesday, Wednesday period, up to about 18 miles an hour. And again, mainly with that westerly component. And then we'll go over to Maggie Peak. It's our elevation about 3,600 feet. So again, a warming trend through Tuesday, and then a cooling trend after that, slightly cooling. And our RHs again are kind of, they're still pretty poor overall for your recoveries. And on min RH is around 30 to 25% as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday. Again on Tuesday, Wednesday, and seeing an increase in wind speeds up to 10 to 14 miles an hour. Again, mainly in between the west and the south and southerly direction. Right, and here's a quick look at your 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, highlighting Washington and North Idaho in the near normal to slightly below. And for the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, again, we mentioned those some light shower activity possible between the 8 and 14 day, mainly across the northern half of Washington and the northern panhandle. All right, and if there are any other fire info that you need, feel free to check out the OTX fire dashboard, and we will have this recording up there shortly. And otherwise, I will stop the recording, and then we can start questions if there are any.